What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Steven here with another Neural DSP Q&A. You guys have been busy while I've been gone. What is up, everybody? Just want to say I've been reading through some of the comments. Mr. Hard Rocker, thanks for helping James Roman out with all those questions. It's awesome to see you all help each other out. It's very, very, very cool to see. All right, so y'all got questions. I have no doubt about that. Who here is stoked on the new Nolly Archetype? Is that not the coolest thing? And nobody expected it, right? It's very, very cool. John Luis, what's up, dude? I see Zach Manzano, what's up, my friend? Rudy Cortez, Thad Nil, Danny Evil, Mike Shirley, James Roman, what's up? Rodney, my dude, what's going on, man? Let's see. All right, so you have questions, I have answers. Potentially. We'll see. I'll do my best. So why don't we just go ahead and jump into it. Yeah, so... Wow, this guy. What's up, Rodney? Yeah, I got a lot of questions, a lot of comments to cycle through. Modern Vintage says, great seeing you again, Steve. What's up, dude? How you doing? I know you love the NTS, but is it safe to say this is the best one yet? Also wondering how different you find the Friedman versus the JCM 800 to be. Thanks. Man. Yes, I would say probably it's one of the most comprehensive guitar plugins, one of the most versatile, and probably the most powerful that they've come out with yet. Like, I love it. Like, I'll always have like a special place in my heart for the NTS, but after having played with the Nolly for a bit, it's probably going to be, I mean, it's going to be the go-to for everything that I use as far as like heavy tones, clean tones, delays, distortions, everything. Let's see. Carl asks, Nolly for 7 strings? Of course. Yeah. I don't think that there would be a good, like, I think you would have to have a plugin that's worthwhile playing 7 and 8 string guitars if it's going to have Nolly's name attached to it. And it's also how you treat the signal, right? But yeah, no, I definitely 7 and 8 strings. I actually have an example of an 8-string riff that I used the 3rd amp for, and I'll show you guys in a little bit. But let's see. Rudy asks, I've tried many plugins and many don't do justice. Is this going to be different? I think so. I mean, look, it's all up to personal preference at a certain degree. As a guitar player, somebody who's played live for a long time, somebody who's experienced with, especially playing previous amp sims, and I think that Neural DSP are pushing the envelope in such a way that I know that I am super stoked on this plugin. And I don't know if you guys watched the behind the scenes with Nolly, but like he is. He's nothing if not exacting. Like, if that dude is saying that this is all that he wanted out of a plugin, I would definitely, I don't know. I tend to take his word for it. He has one of the most discerning ears that I find in the modern engineering, production, and guitar playing era. Like, I think that if you watched any of his live mixes, or you watched any Creative Live, Nail the Mix, or whatever, like, that this guy is very, very, very picky when it comes to his tones. I mean, like, he learned the electrical engineering just so he could make his own amplifiers, right? Like, just so he could do all the modding and really just get so like scrutinizing of every minute detail to make the perfect thing for himself. Like, I think it's very, very cool. But again, it's just a matter of like, try out the demo. If you are that hesitant, try out the demo. You know, like that's ultimately what's going to, let's go close that. That's, you know, just give it a shot. I mean, like, I hope that I can show you a couple of cool things today. But ultimately, you know, it's what fits your style. So yeah. Let's see. Arts. Okay, so you had somebody else had a question. Oh, okay. So Art Rock Guitar School asks, what is the difference between the Plini and the Nolly? The Plini and the Nolly are different in which amps have been profiled and to what extent they have been profiled. Because I think one of the if you've watched any of the advertisements, like as far as like the attention to detail is concerned with the Nolly, like 640 different impulse responses went into this plugin. And I don't know if you like, what that means is that each cabinet was processed. What would that be? 180 times. Like there's a lot of work that went into this, like just to get you the most perfect plugin that you could possibly want, as versatile a plugin as you want. I like the Plini and I like the Nolly. They are different as far as like tonal characteristics are concerned. And if you want, I can even go through and give you kind of an A/B between how I would approach the Nolly and the Plini on similar tracks. So I can do that as well. Let's see. And if you haven't bought either plugin, Art Rock Guitar School, if you haven't bought either plugin, you can download demos, 14-day demos that you can try it out and A/B them for yourself. Like I feel like that would be a really good thing to do. I'm all about personal experience and I'm all about trying things out for yourself. So I can say it's what I love, and people trust that I have a discerning ear, and that's great. But ultimately, I want you guys to prove it to yourselves, essentially. I believe in the product wholeheartedly. But I definitely say you should try it for yourself and figure it out if you like it or not. Let's see. Okay. Modern Vintage asks, first riffs you played with the plugin? Mine will be Marigold and Absalom against the P3 guitar stem. So stoked. Let's see. What did I play? I don't know. Like normally I just start with like some heavy palm mutes, you know, just some chugga chuggas, maybe some Gojira or Pantera, maybe some Mastodon. Those are usually my go-tos. Cause like if it doesn't represent that thick kind of tone, then I'm not really interested, you know, but this more than takes care of it. Doug Payne asks, can you say what amps were modeled in the Nolly plugin? I cannot, because I don't know. I mean, I can describe what they are, but I would definitely say, like, you know, like watch the videos, especially with Nolly kind of describing them, where you have like the very crystal clear amp number 1, you have the sort of British overdrive on number 2, you have the rhythm heaviness on the 3rd, and then just like a fire breathing like lead saturated 4th one, which was the lunchbox. Let's see. Mr. Hard Rocker says, I've got a suspicion that one amp in there is a rock British monster. Stoked about this particular amp way too much. I'm not gonna lie, it is very, very, very cool. I'll demo it today. It's pretty awesome. Like it's got that really nice warmth of like the British kind of style, like that I tend to like. I like that like forward mid sort of sound. And Rudy says, okay, I'm gonna get it. Awesome, dude. That's excellent. Let's see. Sean Hart says, looking to use with automated IEM system, can you send amp without cab sim to a set of outputs to live power amp while sending cab sim to monitor mix? I would probably, depending on how powerful your rig is. I mean, like one way that you could do this is have your plugin without the cab sim on one track, the cab sim on a second track, so that way you can have input to both of those and then route them to the separate outputs. That could be one way of doing it. I'm not. I would have to really try it out for myself, to be honest. But yeah, you could absolutely do that. That would be totally cool. You know what you could do? You could even have your, like, say you had a track, like say you had let's see, you had your guitar without the cab sim here. You loop that, or you send that to an aux. Your aux has your cab sim on it, so that way you have your separate outputs. You can have a send from your non-cab simmed plugin out to a separate out, and then your cab simmed from the aux auxiliary or the bus going to your main outs. So that'd be another way you could do that. Anyway. Finn asks, will there be presets? Of course, yes. Nolly did a bunch of different presets. I'll show you. So we go to factory. Yeah, he put a ton of really cool presets in here. I'm actually really excited to try out this vulgar display because I'm a big fan of the Pantera. Anyway, let's see. Rodney Altenboss says, I need to know the amps. If I don't find out, I'll starve my son. Don't do that. It's not worth it. You'll find out. It's going to be, I mean, like, just troll the forums. You'll see. Let's see. Yegor Ivanov says, is there a 14-day trial of Archetype Nolly? When will it be available? The trial will be available on Friday. That's when the plugin drops. That's when the trials are going to be out as well. And that takes care of the next 4 or so questions. Let's see. I'm gonna butcher this name. Kalevin. Pablo says, I'm happy that you were the ones who made the guitar plugin with Nolly. It tells me that Nolly has high standards because you make the best amp sims right now. Misha's plugin is kind of meh. I appreciate that, and I know that this was a project that they undertook with great care and a lot of respect, because Nolly is so discerning with his tones, and because he is so meticulous. I knew that they wanted to approach it and get it just right on the first go. And I think it's awesome that Nolly wanted to work with us, and it's been a great partnership so far. I'm super excited to use it in my own stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what you guys are going to come up with as well. All right. Okay, so Christoph Ingeman asks, will there be a gate pedal available? Torn between Pliny and Nolly, neither has a gate pedal like the NTS, and for chunky riffs, it would be cool. I find that the gate on the plugin is sufficient enough for me personally. If you absolutely need the Zool plugin, the Zool gate, I would then just open up NTS or Nameless beforehand, and then just disengage everything but the Zool, so that way you could utilize that beforehand. That's, I mean, assuming that if you own the other ones as well. But that's a workaround. But as you can see, as far as the pedals are concerned, so we have the gate here, which is part of every Neural DSP product, but we have the compressor, overdrive 1, delay 1, and overdrive 2. So those are the pedals that are in this particular amp. Okay, Modern Vintage asks, and the only reason why I'm asking Let's see. Okay. Any Nolly presets at launch or your own soon? Looking forward to your Periphery Nolly plugin presets. Yes. Nolly's presets will come stock. Like I said, he's got a lot. And then I'll have my own presets as well. I'll try and get them actually put in the initial launch, and if not, then they're going to be in my preset folder, which is linked in every video in the description. So that it'll all be there as well. And I got a handful of pretty cool ones. I think I like a lot. Let's see. TJ Combo. Will this be a little more taxing on the CPU than, say, the Nameless, for example? It is a bit heavier if you have a lot of the stuff engaged. So if you're running all 4 pedals, if you're running these 2 pedals, if you got both impulse responses and the EQ, if you got all of that going at once, it's going to be a little bit more taxing. But if you turn off some of the pedals or something like that, it's not going to be as bad. I promise. Like I've really been impressed with how many features this thing has and how well it's performed on my computer. It's been really, really nice. Let's see. Raylar Fela asks, is there an example of the clean amp? I love the Pleeny Clean, but can't seem to find an example of clean for Nolly. Yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and do something about that. So this is a piece that I'm working on right now. So I wanted to use this particular piece because I kind of wanted to show you guys these presets that I've kind of built up without the processing. Like the only thing I have going is my my mastering chain. And then beyond that, like I'm still mixing this and I'm still writing and recording this. So I kind of want to play this for you guys, and then I'll mess around with this particular tracks and show you some of like the clean tones you can get from it. So that's the one that I'm kind of working on currently. As I said, it's not wholly mixed or mastered yet. So let's go ahead and I will pull up this particular track. Okay, so let me make sure that yep. All right. So I labeled this one Dreamy Chimes, but if we want to talk about like clean tones, I really like this first amp. It's very, very cool for the clean tones. So basically what I'm doing is I am putting in this pre-delay, so that way it gets a little bit of saturation from the gain staging in the amp, which on the first amp, it's not going to saturate too terribly much unless I start pushing up the gain. So let's go and listen to that. So that sounds pretty cool. One of the best things, one of the really, really cool things that I love about this particular amp that's different than the others is that the master volume control always has this nice saturation like you would get from a normal amp. When you turn up the master control, you start to saturate the power tubes. And the thing that I really like about this one is that you have gain compensation. So I can push this master volume up all the way, and then I don't have to worry about altering the output volume either, which is different on the other ones, because on the other ones I would, push up the master, pull down the output, push up the master, pull down the output. But on this one, they have it on a master goes into the power amp section, and then you have the overall level of the amp going to the output. And it's really, really cool because you can get that nice warm saturation from the power tube section. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this one here. Really like that. It sounds awesome. So you end up getting that really nice kind of breakup distortion from the master control. So all right, let's go ahead and look at some more questions. Oh, it's a lot of questions. Okay. Oh my gosh, lots and lots of questions. Holy crap. Okay. Modern Vintage asks, given Nolly's insane ear, do you find any feel improvement or enhanced realism compared to other plugins? Seems like most of that comes down to the actual amps. Yes. So this feels closest to the real thing, especially as far as how responsive the amps are to how hard you pick the strings. Like the amount of breakup that is added to like really heavy palm muted, and then when you kind of go a little bit lighter, it's really very, very different beasts. But yeah, I find that especially the impulse response section is really dope. I'll show you actually the impulse response section. So you get your choice of 4 different cabs and then 4 of Nolly's favorite mics. Now, he did all of the impulse response collection himself and sent, an ungodly amount of impulse responses to be checked and used for this. And they did a great job. They did a fantastic job because each one sounds so good. Let's go ahead and listen to... And you know what? Actually, let's... Let's listen to this. Oh yeah, I gotta put this on loop. Huh. That's me. Now, each of these cabinets is matched to their respective head, but the cool thing is you can link them or unlink them and kind of mess around with, choosing different cabinets to get different tones. So if I wanted to then, go to this little lunchbox guy. So the amount of options that you can manage with this are ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so so I'm getting people asking me to A/B the Plini and the Nolly. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let me take a moment to set this up. So go ahead and duplicate these tracks active. Let's go ahead and multiplace, no. Control G2. And that'll be modify globals, controls, great. Plini. Okay. So let's listen to this one now. Okay, so I got, let's see, let's make these a little bit smaller, and we'll make these red. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, very different tones. Yeah, very, very different tones. I mean, I like the Plini. It's a little bit too squishy for this particular riff. It would probably do like those settings might do better for a 7-string, but this is all on the 8th string of my Legator guitar. But yeah, so hopefully that helps, because like the tonal difference is very. They're both different beasts for sure. I know that I'm definitely going to be going with the Nolly more so than the Plini from now on. But as far as like, I mean, like the Plini has great tones to it. I can't say that it's a bad plugin, because it's not a bad plugin. But it's just going to be whatever gets you that sort of inspiration and that sort of tone that you're looking for. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to try and catch up on questions real quick. Let's see. Rudy Cortez asks, when's the trial download going to be available? That is Friday. Modern Vintage says the Q&A with Doug was great. Thanks. No, I really, really enjoy talking with Doug, and I'm hoping to bring Francisco on as well to answer any questions that you guys have. Oh, looks like somebody already answered that question for me. Great. Christian Gojak asks, Goyak, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. Sorry, man. Asks, any plans for developing a hardware zero latency monitor interface or for cooperating with existing hardware? I feel like a hardware DSP gives a better feel due to lower latency. You know what? Take a watch. Take a listen to the of last week's Q&A I had with Doug, and he answered some questions that were very similar to that one. So, yeah, I would refer you to his expertise on that. Sorry, I'm looking through these questions. You guys have been peppering the chat, so so Boo Cakey, come on, man, that name's ridiculous. I love it though. But anyway, so asks, how is the Nolly plugin to play with in general? I feel a lot of people focus on how it sounds in a mix, but how does it feel to play generally for practice, etc.? Some plugins from others feel unnatural. I would say, I mean, like I've basically just been playing the Nolly for the past a week and a half, maybe more, I think. And I've been doing it in mix, without mix, just practicing and writing. And I feel like as far as its representation of like reality and like real like amps, I think it's great. I think as far as like inspiration is concerned, it's one of the closest that you're going to get to a real amp. And I think that I think they did a great job with it. Let's see. But yeah, so as far as like feel is concerned, like it's one of the best feeling amps that I've used. They just keep getting better and better each iteration, I feel, as far as what Neural DSP releases. It just gets better and better. Let's see. Thomas Glasgow asks, what are the amps cabs based off specifically? Also, did Nolly include any album-based presets? They're based off of amplifiers that he has that he personally modded, so I don't know the specific models, but as far as like factory presets that he made himself, let's see, heavy post-rock trim, lead, pristine, clean. I can't find any that are direct tie-ins to anything. You know, normally people kind of will cheekily make a plugin, or not a plugin, but a preset name close to something else, and the only one that I can see is Vulgar Display, so maybe it's a Pantera-esque kind of tone. Like I said, I'm kind of curious to try that one out. Okay, Mr. Hardrocker asks, can you please specify when pre-order ends and where trial is available? Tomorrow is Thursday, not Friday. Can you please clarify? Yes, tomorrow is Thursday. The next day is Friday. The trial will be available on Friday, and the pre-sale ends when the plugin is released, which will be Friday. TJ Combo, I think, let's see if, yes. Okay, you already got that question answered. So Modern Vintage says, regarding which amps they are, has anyone here heard of copyright or trademark infringement? Videos and photos show them quite well. Yeah, so, and here's the thing, is that, like, we can't directly say what they are based off of just because of that, copyright and trademark infringement, because those companies are not, partnered with us. And so we can't be very specific on what we're using. But if you do some digging, you will find the answers. Like, they are there to be found, and I'm sure that more people will find out over time. But yeah, just go ahead and do some digging, and you'll find out where they're at. Mr. Hardrocker, not a problem. Modern Vintage, are either of those overdrive pedals like a precision drive, 33, grind, etc. to tighten things up, perhaps unnecessary? I want to say that, oh gosh, I can't remember the exact model I'm thinking of, but I can actually just play you a little bit so you can hear what this kind of sounds like between the two. So seems like the Overdrive 2 really kind of tightens up the signal a little bit more. I mean, I do have the bass kind of lowered a bit. That the Legator pickups are really, really dark pickups, so I do have to end up cutting that bass quite a bit. So yeah, the Overdrives definitely do have their own characteristics, where one is more like a tube screamer, and I'm not sure exactly what the other one is, but they both sound really, really good. I've been really digging them so far. Okay. Thadnil asks, does the Nolly come with reverb? Yes, it does. Comes with two, actually. Oh, no, sorry. There's a reverb. There's two delays. So the reverb here sounds pretty cool, actually. Let's go up here. Take a listen to this. Bad Johnny. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that sounds really, really good. I love his reverb. Sorry, I'm probably a little bit late on some of these questions. I'm trying to get through as many as I can. So Tyler Britton says, now I know why you and Doug chuckled a bit when someone asked if there would be a British sounding amp in the new release. Yes. So at that point when Doug and I were on the Q&A last week, I had already had the Nolly on my computer and was playing around with it. So, you know, it's like we play things really close to the chest, and I knew that you guys were going to be stoked on this because this kind of British sounding amp is super dope. It sounds awesome. So in a couple of minutes, I'll actually break out a guitar, and I'll try and see if the latency is not going to throw me off too much. My streaming setup is that I can play through Pro Tools, but it gets a little bit dodgy as far as the latency is concerned. Black Metal Cat, I love the name of I love your screen name. Black Metal Cat says the plugins just destroy everything else. Comparing, say, Guitar Rig or Amplitude to this, there really is no comparison. I would wholeheartedly agree. I think that, and because I've used Amplitude before and I've used Guitar Rig, and they are okay. They're not bad. Like they're good enough for me to practice on should I need it, but now that I have all of this, I don't. You know, like it's just having something that is so close to the real deal. It more than meets my needs. All right. Ooh, lots of questions. Okay. Let's see, Chris Capshock says, have you tried running analog physical pedals through the neural stuff? Just tried a Soul Food in front of the high gain Plini amp today, and it yielded thick results. I really want to. I really, really do. I actually want to. I want to talk to Fortin and see if I can't get some of their physical models in here and demo them out and see, you know, how they compare to the digital representations of them. So, yeah, no, I really, really want to do that. That might be a video, actually. I could probably do that. Let's see. Modern Vintage asks, can you please quickly show an A/B of the BE and the 5150? Are you talking about the lunchbox one and the third amp, or which ones? Numbers. Give me 2 or 3 or 3 and 4, and I will do such a thing. Doomrot asks, why don't you use the other IRs? I'm not sure what you mean. Again, I'm kind of catching up on this chat, so I apologize for the late responses to your questions. But probably I think you're talking about the demo between the Plini and the Nolly. Well, I think I did go through a bunch of the different impulse responses. But yeah, I mean, if you want me to, if you have a specific thing you want me to take a look at, and I will gladly do so. Beat Rispitz asks, what are the microphones for the impulses in the Nolly? Good question. So we have the Dynamic 57, the Dynamic 421, Condenser 414, and Ribbon 160. I particularly like the 57, and I gotta say, like, generally I'm not a huge fan of the 421, but I really, really dig the 421 captured by Nolly. I don't know what he did with it or how he did it, but it sounds awesome. Because normally I find that the 421 tends to have that like fizzy sort of sound at 4K, but somehow he captured it in a way, or maybe he has a specific 421 that he collected or modified or something or other. I don't know. But the way that he captured it, it sounds awesome. Like, it sounds nice and bright, like you would expect a dynamic mic to sound, but it doesn't add like a hiss or a fizz or that resonance in that presence area, which I really dig. All right. Did I not? You know what? You're right. Faison Khan says, did you turn on the overdrive on the Plini? I saw you adjusting it. I did not actually turn it on, accidentally. Yeah, so I didn't turn it on when I was dialing it in tones, but if you'd like, I can do an AB again with the overdrive on this time. Let's go ahead and switch over. Yeah, so definitely different. Again, like, the characteristics between the two are you know, they represent the amps that they represent, and I think that the Nolly is definitely a bit more like, this third amp is definitely your high gain rhythm amp. Like, it sounds great. Let's see. Raylar Fela asks, how does this handle single coil strats? I don't know. I don't have a single coil strat on hand. Right now I have my Ligator 8-string, which has the humbucker pickups, and I have the my ESP, which has EMG 81s, 85s. So far it's handled both of those like a champ, but I'm sure that single coil strats would be not a problem whatsoever. Drunken Taros asks, you're running on a Scarlett or a Claret? I'm actually running on the Focusrite Scarlett 18920. Yeah. Matthew Scott, noticeable differences between different pickup configurations, pluses, minuses. You know, that's going to be it's going to be the difference between like the passive sort of. Well, actually, you know what? Here, let's see if I can. Can I get this to work? Give me a sec. Tell me something is working. Oh, okay, great. Sounds pretty cool. All right, so I got my guitar. Hopefully you all heard that. Okay, Nolly high gon, yeah. Please do the clean tones too. Pliny is special. Yeah, no, absolutely. So let's go ahead and do something. Let's try out the Nolly delicate clean. Funky dry clean. I haven't actually tested out a lot of these presets, so we're going on an adventure together. Cool. I like that. Let's see, heavy rock rhythm. Let's hear what this sounds like. If I turn my volume up, that would be really cool. Sorry, everybody. If that blew out your ears, I greatly apologize. Okay, this one sounds pretty cool. This latency is killing me. All right. All right. So okay, I'm just going to skip all the way down. Woo! Okay. Enrico Rotolo asks, will there ever be a way to mix and match different plugin components like the grind from the Fortin plugins into these amps? So far right now, the only way to do that would be to have two instances. So you have the Fortin nameless beforehand, disengage everything but the Zool or the grind or the overdrive, disengage everything but the ones that you want, and then engage the other one afterwards. So like if I wanted to have this and then less sweet, hex drive, Zool, Archetype, Nolly. So this is the cheap way to do it, is just to have two of the plugins open, so that way you could then we try doing this, actually? Let's... All right, so that's just the way I'm going to have to do it. All right. Yeah, so Enrico, at this point, it's just a matter of opening up separate versions or separate instances of the plugins, and then, you know, making your adjustments from there. No plans as of yet to have like a hub. Again, that's a question that Doug and I went over last week. So if you want to take a listen to that, then he has a good answer for you. Then Yegor Ivanov asks how to remove the noises while recording. There's a couple of different things. It could be room noises, like it could be your electricity, it could be your pickups. It's a matter of figuring out where the noise is coming from. That's the best answer I can give you. Figure out where the noises are coming from and then proceed from there, because you could need a DI. You could need to just go to a whole different place to record, because it could be radio frequency interference or the electricity in your building causing ground loops or something like that. So find out where it's coming from and then go from there. Faison Khan asks, are the pre-pedals always in that order? For example, delay 1, overdrive 2 are engaged. This is always delay first. Yes. So New American Gospel asks if I could play the heavy rhythm amp through 4 cabinets. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and unlink these, and I'll just riff for a moment on each one. That my volume wasn't on the entire time. That's great. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to do... I'm trying to get this right. Okay. Yeah, Danny Evil, it's pretty quiet. Yeah, no, I totally get it. Working on it. This is the problem of having this kind of setup and being the only person in the room. I don't have anybody listening to the stream to help me with this, so I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, no, stream settings, I get it. We'll get there. Yeah, because I'm trying to make sure that so there's latency, so I have to turn off my speakers in order to play, which is it can be a little frustrating to try and play with latency, because it's like trying to talk when you hear that talk back, and it throws off my playing a lot. So let's go ahead and turn that down. So I have to turn off the speakers, and if I didn't turn on my volume on my guitar, then it's not going to do anything. So It's unfortunate. But anyway, okay, good. So it's good now. Danny Evil says it's okay. Third amp sounded great. 100%. I that's probably my favorite is this guy right here. Zach, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I really do. So yeah, so we're coming up. We're already a little over time, but if you guys have any additional questions at all, I'm more than happy to hang out for a few more minutes. Finn asks, would you mind riffing on those EMGs? Not at all. That wouldn't be a problem in the slightest. So let's go ahead and turn this off so I can unplug. Yeah, give me a second. It feels so weird playing on 6 strings again. I've mainly only been playing on my Legator. So, all right, let's figure this out, shall we? Wow, I am so sorry, everybody. It is so hard. I'm so sorry, guys. Need to turn this all the way down. All right. Yeah. Much apologies for that. That was really, really. You know what it is? I went from my passive pickups to my active pickups. So, and I was not just wasn't thinking about it. So, all right. Let's see. Okay, so New American Gospel. I am so sorry. That might have been me. Is it similar to? Is it possible to get a similar sound to the Nameless Suite with this plugin? Austin Gillian asks. Just close to it. Honestly, I haven't really tried. I assume that you could probably get similar with maybe with this third amp, but the Nameless is a very, very bright amplifier. You could probably get close to it. Maybe not quite the same thing, but close. Cool. Yale asks, does Neural develop a product based on the assumption that it will be used also in live situations or connected to a real cabinet? I'm not sure actually. That's a really good question. I think that they know that their stuff is good enough to be used in a live situation and respond similarly to real amplifier heads and with like the amount of saturation and warmth and everything like that. I think that they know it can be used in real situations. Like I did that live video where I had I had the Archetype Plini going out to my cabinet, and it sounded awesome. But I'm not sure if there's an assumption that it'll be used in live situations. I think that they're now pushing to make that a reality and be more common with their plugins, because they're going to be adding in like MIDI support to like the standalone version, so that way you can play them live and switch between them. So that is a thing that's going to be, I think, developing a lot more, because people are looking for an easier way to get good tones live. And if I can run around with just my laptop and an interface and then have my cabinet, or even just have that going out to like the main speakers, I think that that's going to be a better setup than lugging around my 60-pound Mesa Boogie. And yeah, so I'm 32 and I'm not old, but I'm definitely looking for easier ways to do things nowadays. Like not having to throw out my back carrying around cabinets and amplifier heads and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's see. VoltaSpeeder17 says he really likes neural plugins, but is it just him, or does this plugin sound very plastic? Not like Plini or NTS, for example, or is it just how the sounds are set up? It could be personal preference as well. I mean, like, I think that these sound pretty awesome for especially in comparison to the Plini or the NTS. I think they all have their own personalities and their own sounds. I mean, it could be that you just don't, like this particular one, and that's totally cool. I think it's awesome, but if you don't like it, that's cool. That's your own personal preference, and that, like, I'm not going to be the one to say, it's like I don't want to give anybody a hard time for not liking something that we make, because that's your preference, and that's totally cool. Like, if you like the Plini, you like the NTS better, that's awesome, because those are great plugins. But yeah, I mean, like, again, I would say try it out for yourself, have your setup, and do a demo A/B, the two back and forth. But yeah, give it a shot. Faison Khan says, in his opinion, Nameless Suite is a perfect sound out of the box already. Agreed. Especially if you're going with that sound. Like, it sounds awesome. Like, the Nameless was the plugin that got me into Neural DSP in the first place. Like, I had heard the Dark Glass, and I was like, that's pretty dope. But I ended up actually getting the Nameless first, because I was trying I was going for a mix, a test mix for a band that I was working with, and I bought it because I wanted that really awesome sound. Like, they were digging the sound, I was digging the sound. But yeah, I went with the Nameless first, and it was great, like right out the gate. Let's see. Faison Khan, the promo video music from the other day was made with this plugin, right? Yes, absolutely. Otherwise, it wouldn't be authentic, right? But yeah, it's definitely made with this particular plugin, and I thought it sounded really awesome when I heard it. I think everybody forgets how good a guitar player Nolly actually is. So, yeah, that was all made with the Nolly plugin. VoltaSpeeder, I appreciate that, man. He says, I'll definitely check it out like the rest of your plugins. Definitely keep up the good work. Love what you're doing plugin wise. I appreciate that, man. Like, it's been a lot of fun. And I'll take last question I'll put it in last call. And if I don't get any questions by the time I finish answering this one, we'll call it a day. Modern Vintage asks, thanks for the stream. Any chance of getting Nolly on again? He's talking about the Inside the Machine podcast. And I definitely want to get him on the podcast because I do have a lot of questions for him regarding this plugin, its development, and yeah, so I have a lot of questions as far as like the development and the methodology of how they came up with this. So there's a lot of things that I kind of want to bring to light, especially when it comes to how meticulous, again, like he is, and how meticulous Neural DSP is when making something like this. So that way you guys kind of understand how much work goes into this stuff. I think that if there's something that I would want you guys to understand and be cognizant of is the amount of love and effort that goes into these plugins, because ultimately they're making this stuff for you guys, and it's really it's very apparent from where I'm sitting. Okay, cool. Ryan Kearney asks, can the amps be turned off? Yes, they can be turned off. So if you wanted to use these impulse responses with another Neural DSP plugin, so like the nameless head into the Nolly cabinets, absolutely. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Hard Rocker says Nolly was the best guitarist in Periphery. I think that was I was talking with Doug, and there was an interview where the other guitar players were like, "Yeah, Nolly's the best guitar player in Periphery." So yes, absolutely, he's awesome. Modern Vintage wants a quick comparison of the American versus USA or Brit amp. Yeah. How does the second amp clean up? Oh gosh, so many questions. Pre-drag Adamovic asks, can this plugin be used for modern rock tones and standard tuning? Yes, it can. I would go with the second amp, actually. So because I can turn the gain down on this particular amp. Hopefully this is not going to blow out any eardrums. Yeah, it could definitely be used for some like kind of a little bit so for some rock tones for sure. Does the second amp clean up as you roll down the volume? Yeah, okay, so let's see. Mr. Hard Rocker asks, yeah, does the second amp clean up as you roll down the volume? Absolutely. So like as you turn the master up, you're going to start getting a lot more low and mid-range. But if you want to go down to this, let's check to make sure. So if I turn off the overdrive pedal and just use the amp head, yeah, so you can get some cool kind of broken up, crunchy kind of tones from the second amp for sure. Okay. Voltaspeeder asks, oh my gosh, a lot of questions filling in. My browser keeps refreshing and I get like a jump in the chat, so I have to scroll back up real quick. Okay. Voltaspeeder asks, I have a question about how you're recording streaming the sound from your plugin DAW directly on YouTube. I never managed to do it. I just got the clean sound from... Okay, so I had to buy Dante Via. So it's Dante Via and an external like router that's how I'm managing to stream and get everything right. But it's not a perfect setup, and I kind of have to just deal with certain aspects of it, which is fine. But I'm having that go to my OBS studio. Yeah, Danny Evil, you got it right. I haven't tried Volta though. But yeah, so I'm using Dante Via, and then I'm going to taking that audio to OBS, and then from OBS I'm streaming to YouTube. So yeah. Modern Vintage. No merch planned yet. That's unfortunate. Gotta have. Well, hopefully that'll be soon. Okay. Zach Manzano says, I'd get a logo tattoo, just saying. And free plug-in for you. That's great. Okay, excellent. You know what? That is... Oh, gosh, that's I think that's it. I think that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and call that a wrap. I enjoyed this, even if it was a little janky. I appreciate y'all coming by and hanging out with me, and putting up with my sloppy playing right now. So I had a lot of fun. You guys are awesome. I love this community, and I love helping you guys out. If y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out on Steven at NeuroDSP, or my Facebook, or post questions up in the Facebook group. It's the NeuroDSP users group. So yeah, anytime you guys want to talk stuff, by all means. Christoph Ingeman. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a day. You know what, Christoph, just for you. Hang on. All right. Just for you, I'll do 2 and 4. Okay, so okay, so that's number 2. This is number 4. Really awesome amount of distortion on that 4th amp. But okay, great. That is it. I will see you all next week for... I'll see y'all next week for the follow-up Q&A. Love you guys, and I will see you next time.